everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 6, Episode 15. This is the series finale. What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Everybody, let's talk about it. First things first, I want to say this was an excellent episode. I thought that the way they wrapped it up was like a bow. You know, they wrapped everything up in a bow, but I appreciated it because it kind of leads you to kind of make your own conclusions and, you know, fill in the story for you, and they gave you a little bit of the outline, so it's no more questions, you know, other than what you come up with on your own about what happens at the end of the story. So I think that everybody got their fair share of accountability. I think everybody who was supposed to die died. I think everybody who was supposed to go to jail went to jail. I think everything that was supposed to happen was supposed to happen. Okay, so this is going to be a long review. Go ahead and get your snacks. Go ahead and get on the treadmill, whatever you do to pass the time and while you listen to me talk. And we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing we see is gunshots outside of the courthouse. Annalise's mom is inside. She's frantic. She's screaming, you know, is she okay? And they're trying to hold her back. And they rewind to 3 days earlier. Bonnie, Tegan, and Annalise are all discussing the fact that Hannah is dead now. They can't find Frank. They don't know what happened. How is this going to affect the case? Annalise is kind of freaking out at this point. Tegan is still telling her, don't worry about it. You still can win. You know, this is not something that's, you know, going to end the case. And Annalise is like, listen, I might as well just go jump out this window and join Hannah in hell. I said, not in hell. Annalise is really upset with Bonnie because Bonnie shouldn't have told Frank what she told him. And now, you know, the whole case is threatened to be blown up because of this situation. Oh, and it's kind of dark. All right, so I'm going to turn this a little bit, y'all, so y'all can see. Alright, we'll do it like that. Alright, so they tell Bonnie to try to find Frank because they need to figure out what's going on. So Hannah's lawyer from the last episode, he gets into his car and we see that Frank has him by gun. This whole episode, Frank has kind of went off the deep end. He's kind of, you know, running all over the city on a homicidal rampage, basically. So, you know, he gets in the car, the man gets in the car, he has the gun to his head, and he tells him that he only wants to talk about his mother. That's all he wants. He goes over to Laurel's house and she's looking for Frank. Frank is not there and she's kind of frustrated, and her and Laurel have a talk. Laurel says, Bonnie says she messed up. Laurel is just like, listen, I always thought you two would end up together. And Bonnie's like, why? So you can feel better about just leaving him. And she's like, listen, if somebody can make him happy, like, it's you. You know what I'm saying? I know that you guys would be good together. And Laurel says to her, you know, I know you were the one that were keeping us together. You know, you blamed it on Annalise, but it really was you. And Bonnie is like, I just wanted a family. And Laurel said, me too. So a lot of these people, you know, everybody in the group pretty much is kind of without a family. You know, some people have a family, but they don't have a family. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, Bonnie was like that. Laurel is like that as well. She the ones who had a family, but not a family. You know what I mean? So they connect in that little moment. And then we see Nate arrives to court and Jorge is on the stand. So Jorge Castillo is on the stand and he's talking about how Laurel was lying. You know, they interject a couple of times, like he doing the most, okay? But he basically denies everything. The prosecutor asks him about the governor. He asked him about about Xavier Castillo and who could have killed him. Is that connected to the governor? He was like, no, I have a lot of enemies, you know. It could have been anybody, basically. And he says that he has not been in contact with the FBI. The FBI are the people who put him in jail. And he says that he points out Tegan as a witness, saying, well, you know, the FBI put me in jail. And he go to witness right here. There she go right there. Look at her. And so Annalise was like, y'all doing too much. Now bring it down. Bring it back. And the judge was like, bring it back. You're doing too much. Oh, and after all of this, the prosecutor is called into chambers with the judge because she ain't got time for these shenanigans. And Nate looks kind of upset because basically, you know, he went there to last episode trying to get him to testify so that he would say, you know, the truth, basically tell on the governor, and he got up there and double crossed him. Michaela, Connor, Oliver, and Laurel, they all discuss Jorge's testimony, and Connor says that isn't it ironic that we're all mad at him for lying on the stands, but that's what we got up there and did. We all lied on the stand. you know, except for Laurel. Oliver is just like, Connor, you need to calm down. They kind of go back and forth this episode with the whole thing. Like, Oliver is sucked onto him like a suction cup, you know? And Connor's basically saying, like, maybe we need to tell the truth. Maybe it's time that somebody tells the real truth. because, you know, it's the right thing to do. And Michaela is like, you're going to jeopardize your freedom, Laurel's freedom. Well, her freedom already jeopardized, but you're going to jeopardize your freedom. You're going to jeopardize Oliver's freedom because he has immunity. So if you know, talk, then he's going to go to jail too. Michaela says that she don't have no guilt about the whole thing. And Connor is like, you're a sociopath. Like, how do you not have no guilt? Oliver's just like, you can't send yourself to prison. You know, and he said he gonna take a nap. So Connor is like kind of depressed this whole episode, trying to wrangle with it. I told y'all the last week my prediction was he gonna switch teams. Something is gonna happen to him because he feels guilty about what happened. I feel like out of all the characters in this whole series, that Connor probably got the most development as a character, because if you remember, he came in kind of like asshole-ish, and then, you know, he met Oliver that softened him up as a character, and then he went through the whole thing with his family, you know, his dad, his mom, that whole thing. Then he hated Annalise, you know, Annalise had to get him together several times, and then, you know, he ended up helping her on the Supreme Court case, and they really became close. And now you can see the fallout. It has fell out again after they got with Simon, and, you know, all of that stuff that happened with that. Then, you know, he started disliking her again. But what he said was true. It was true that he, you know, took accountability for what he did. You know, everybody make decisions. Like I said last week, accountability need to be taken on all sides. These people are grown. Like he said, they made choices. You know, after the whole first season and the Sam trial and the second season with Hannah and all of that, once that was done, everybody that was grown had a choice to leave. You understand what I'm saying? Or go do something different. Had that been something that happened in real life and we just slimly got away with it, I'd have been gone. I'd have moved away. I don't care how good Annalise Keaton was. So, you know, everybody got to take responsibility for what they did, which I liked about this episode. Even Annalise, even Nate, even Bonnie, you know, everybody paid a penance, you know, for the things they did. So can you get away with murder? I don't know. I think that, you know, you might could get away with it. You might not be able to go to jail, but I think that, you know, you're going to pay for it in another way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to suffer for killing people in a different way. So we'll talk about that later though. Okay. So Tegan and Annalise are in the office, and Tegan tells her that she knows that Lennox has a surprise witness. She thinks it's either Gabriel or it's going to be Frank. And they still can't find Frank. And, you know, Annalise starts to trip. She's walking around the room like, we can't find Frank because maybe he's negotiating his own deal. And then she clicks for a moment and she was like, no, the witness is West. It was a confession. I know, you know, that it's going to be West. And, you know, Tegan is like, let me just figure out what's going on and find out what's going on. As that scene is, you know, exiting or transitioning, we hear the gunshots once again, and we see blood. Now, I don't know who was bleeding. You couldn't see who the suit was, but it wasn't the blue suit that Annalise had on, so I was confident in that respect that she wasn't dead, okay? Laurel is in the car with Christopher, and she screams to the driver. She hurries up. She, like, looks and sees what happened, and she hurries up and tells the driver, hey, go, just drive, and they drive away. And we have a scene with Michaela and Connor. He basically is trying to, like, convince her to, you know, tell the truth, to not go through with this, you know, how you're going to be able to live with yourself. And she goes into this diatribe about how, you know, she suffered when she was a kid and all the different abuses and stories that happened to her. The grandfather put cigarettes out on her, you know, this, that, and the other, you know, all kind of stuff she went through as a child. And she says, you know, she suffered enough. She's not going to jail. Basically, it is what it is. Now she's chosen her side of the road, okay? So she's decided that she's going to look out for herself. She's not going to jail, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So part of me respect her for that, because you made your choice. Like, this is it. You stood up in it. You backstabbing her. You know what I'm saying? You making sure you got your deal. You know what I mean? That's it. You can take care of yourself. At the end of the day, I mean, you got to take care of herself. If you watched after the show, they had a live after party and on like a Zoom type of format on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. It's on the ABC channel. And on that, she was talking about how, you know, basically Michaela made her decision. She is doing what Annalise taught her how to do, which is think about herself, which is take care of herself. And at the end of the day, you know, it left her with no friends, right? But at the end of the day, she, you know, was always on this track to achieve and, you know, be something. So she was always ambitious, and that was true to her character, and, you know, and that was it. So I guess, girl, but you still trash. I mean, she was like, you know, people be calling me trash online basically all day long. I don't go out of my way to call her trash, but she is trash though, pure basura. Okay, moving right along. Oh, and I also don't feel like because you were abused as a child, it's an excuse for you to be a trash person when you grow up. It's a lot of people that was abused as a child, and they turn out to be lovely people. Okay, so I feel sorry for you that you went through that experience as a child, but that's no excuse to do the things that you did. But I guess, get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, like she said on the live thing, she said maybe one day she will help some of you little young girl who will turn around and betray her as well. More than likely, that's how the game gonna go. Okay. Frank meets with the lawyer again, and he say, you know, he got all the paperwork. That's all he got. And he tell him, listen, my lawyer is on notice. He's gonna know if I'm not back in 20 minutes, they gonna call the police, baby. You is going to jail. And Frank was like, I know your name. And Frank was like, you know my name. So if you know my name, then you know it's some more paperwork up in there with my name on it. So now I got to make you and your wife, your baby cry, your grandma and everybody. They gonna be slow singing and flower bringing, baby. You gonna have a t-shirt with your name on it. All right? Keep playing with me. Next on the stand is the governor. So the prosecutor is, you know, interrogating her, or the prosecutor is questioning her, and she's just giving no, girl, no, I don't know what you're talking about, no, who, huh, I ain't never heard of that, girl, what, I don't be out here killing people, that's what Annalise do, girl, I don't do that. I was like, girl, watch your mouth, sis, watch your mouth. Annalise was like, girl, you trying me, okay, censure the witness, please, you ain't supposed to be doing all of this, get it together, you know, I don't know this, I don't know that, blah, blah, blah. As she's finishing up her testimony, basically saying, like, I'm going to win, you know, because I'm a good senator, not because I'm out here trying to kill people. That's what Annalise do. She out here killing people. You know, that's what she going to do. I don't be involved in all these violent murders, baby. As she's finishing up, Frank is coming in, and he kind of give Annalise the eye, you know, like, come on and talk to me. So they go down and talk, and Annalise straight up asked him, did you kill Hannah? And he was like, no, I didn't kill Hannah. You know, I didn't. I was so glad he did not kill nobody. Well, let me take that back, okay? I was glad he didn't kill Hannah, because I didn't want Sam to kill nobody else, okay? But you know, that ain't how it played out. All right. So he tells her that he didn't have nothing to do with Hannah being killed. And then he goes into telling her, like, I don't think you understand. You're it. You're everything for me. Like, you got me out of jail. You know, you got me working. I have this life I have because of you, and I'm grateful to you, is what he's trying to tell her. All I want to do is make you happy. She's like, that's not your job. He was like, it's Sam's job. It's Sam's job. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. And we see him back talking to the lawyer in the car, and basically he got the gun to the lawyer here, and the lawyer is like, listen, it's no more paperwork, it's a flash drive. And so he gives him the flash drive. Then we see him giving the flash drive to Annalise in the present, and she was like, what is this? And he was like, this how you gonna win, baby. Then we back in the courtroom, we see Annalise cross-examining the governor. And so she asked her a whole bunch of questions, you know, about, do she know Xavier? Do she know this person? You know, did she plan this thing? And the governor's just like, no, girl, I know what you're talking about, girl, I know what you're talking about. She also asked her about the Supreme Court case affecting her political aspirations. And then they go into costing the people millions of dollars. Well, it was good because people got helped and yada, 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 okay? So, she asked about Xavier again, and she said she doesn't know this. She asked about Hannah Keaton. She said, I don't know her. And she said, oh, you don't know her? Okay, well, bring out the beautiful bean footage. Roll that beautiful bean footage. And so they play a tape of Hannah and Xavier on the phones. Hannah called Xavier frantic, saying that, you know, Nate Leahy's father was killed. Like, what is going on? I wanted to get Annalise for my brother murder, but, you know, the governor had him killed. Now all these other people getting hurt. And so he's like, girl, I know what you're talking about. I'm hanging up the phone. And she's like, well, if they don't know you, then why are they talking about you so intimately? Y'all excuse the noise. It's thundering out here. Like, the weather's been raining all day. So, and he's like, and she's like, I don't know how they know me, girl. I don't know. And Annalise was like, Annalise started coming at her real hard, you know, with the, you know, did you plan this whole conspiracy? Did you tell them to do this and that and the other? And she's like, no, I didn't do that, you know, and they have a recess. Annalise decimated that hole on that stand, okay? Because she was like, I'm done. Don't even worry about it, girl. In it, girl. I'm done. I was like, girl, get her together, Annalise. I was here. And Annalise afro was on fleek, okay? It was on fleek. She had some Hawaiian silky up in her afro. You can't tell me she ain't had no Hawaiian silky up in there, okay? With some argan oil, baby. Because that afro was laid for the guys, honey. It was picked out, and it gave me, just let your soul glow. Baby, her soul was glowing, and I was here for it. She also casually mentions, I forgot to say, during the cross-examination that Hannah was shot in the head. You know, her and Xavier can't come talk because they both dead, coincidentally. Agent Lanford and the DA meet with Nate to offer him another settlement. So they decided to give him a better settlement than he got the first time. So this is a $20 million settlement that they want to give Nate, so in order for him to testify basically and say what they want him to say. Okay. Tegan is telling Annalise this as they're walking in the courthouse, and then they see Gabriel walking by, and she's like, I know Gabriel, he's going to be the witness. I know that he's going to be, you know, the witness for the FBI. After this, Laurel approaches Tegan about her father, and after Jorge testified, y'all, Laurel said something that kind of threw me off, like he need to be the next one to die, just got to figure out how. So she approaches Tegan, and she tells her that her father has some property in her name, and it's worth so many $1 million, and maybe she can help the both of them. So they didn't really expound on that story too much, but I guess we're just supposed to fill in the blanks after we see what happened. So Annalise is recording, you know, she's strategizing and thinking about how she's going to cross-examine Nate when she gets on the stand, and basically, you know, did they offer you $20 million? And after she asked so many questions, she started going off, and I was like, get him, you protected him, you did, you fought for him, girl, you did, girl, and all he did was turn around and tell lies on you. He finna lie on you. So she got herself all worked up, honey, about Nate and this thing tomorrow. So I was kind of hoping, and you know, that things will work themselves out, because, you know, Annalise, she got a soft spot for Nate, so, you know, she'll crack in a minute when it come up to him. So I was just like, girl, you need to be falling apart in court. We ain't got time for that. Bonnie arriving to the house, and Frank is leaving. He got his suitcase. Y'all remember that suitcase that was full of money? And she like, where you going? And he was like, I'm not going to do nothing bad. And then he basically tells her, like, what is he supposed to do with this that's inside of him now? You know, we already know that Frank has a self-loathing thing about him. You know, he don't feel like he's worthy. He don't feel like, you know, he fit in. You know, that's why he was trying to be with Laurel so bad, so he could be normal or whatever the case may be. So, like, you know, finding out that you're a baby of incest, and, you know, not to mention you're a sociopath who goes around killing people and beating people up and threatening to kill people's family, you know, that's probably a lot to deal with. The fact that you've killed your sibling, the fact that you've killed more than one sibling. Okay, one he didn't know about. I mean, he didn't know Lila was pregnant, but still, you ain't got no business killing nobody, period. Now you killed a pregnant woman, so that was your sibling, and you threatened to kill Gabriel, and you got Annalise in a car accident. They got her baby killed. That's a lot to deal with. And he was like, Annalise knew that. That's why she didn't want you to tell me. And you should have known that too, girl. I don't know why you don't just listen to Annalise. Don't you know she be sunning me? Don't you know that's my mama? Come on now. He tells her that he's going to forgive her, but he just can't do it right now. Baby, he looked like he been crying all day, all night, baby. Just crying, honey. He kissed her, and it was tragic. Their love affair remind me of kind of like a Shakespearean type, you know, tragic love. Like, both of them come through traumatic past, but they found each other. But, you know, it's some traumatic that's going to break them apart once again. So that was sad. You know, I knew this was not going to come to a good end for them. Frank goes to Gabriel's house, and basically he tells Gabriel, this is $86,000 in this thing. You can have it as long as you don't get on the stand and testify against Annalise. So he basically trying to right his wrongs. You know, with Annalise, he's trying to pay his debt to her. As we can see, he says he's trying to make her happy, and then he goes around the whole episode trying to make her happy. So he tells him, don't testify. And he's like, what do you mean? He said, listen, I know you caught up on your daddy, but, you know, your daddy killed Lila. Well, I don't think he did that. Well, I know he did it because he told me to do it. Okay, he told me to do it. And, you know, so your daddy asked me to kill your sibling. Okay? He did not tell him that he was his brother. I think he didn't tell him that for a reason, because he wants him to leave. He did, because Gabriel would have wanted to stay. He was like, so you need to get this bag. You need to leave. Okay? You need to get the hell up out of here before Sam destroy your life like he destroyed everybody. Look at us. Do you see us? Look at us. Look around. Do you see us? Somebody going to jail, baby. Okay? Our life is in tatters. Alcoholism, like, it's a lot going on, baby. And ain't nothing but trauma, drama, and pain, honey. Get your stuff and get from around them and go on about your business. Oliver come back to the house real late and kind of like, where you was at? And he said he was at the library trying to figure out how they can convince the FBI to give him the same deal as Michaela. And Connor is like, listen, Oliver's just like, you're depressed, because Connor is going back and forth about them telling the truth. And he says, you know, he don't want him to go to prison, but he said, you know, basically they go back and forth. You my husband, you supposed to understand, I'm gonna be alone, da-da-da-da-da, right? Kayla's in there too. Now he tells him, you know, you need to fight. Basically, I'm your husband. You need to fight to be free for us so that we can be together. I'm just gonna divorce you. And Connor's just like, okay, I mean, fine, whatever. And so then they get a call from Agent Langford. Connor got to go on down there again. He gets to the office. Langford and the DA tell him that they're going to change his plea deal to something better. It's basically the same deal as Michaela's getting with probation. And so he's like, well, why? And he was like, y'all don't have to do this. He was like, I know we don't, you know what I'm saying, but we're going to do it anyway. Trying to really make you think you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. Like, y'all are trying us, okay? Agent Langford needs to go. Nate is up next, and he's questioned by the prosecutor. The prosecutor asked him about being arrested and almost charged for the murder of Sam Keaton, and he says that he was set up, and we think he gonna say Annalise set him up, because she did set him up. She was trash for that, okay? We get some adequate flashbacks, and he says no, but that was Hannah Keating, and he was like, well, that's a conspiracy with the governor, X, Y, and Z. The man was like, listen, did Annalise tell you to say that? He was like, no, Annalise didn't tell me to say that, but you know how I know? Because you and the FBI agent Langford over here try to pay me $20 million to get up here and lie, so that he can get up on that stand and not say that they had an FBI agent that was working with the Castillos, okay, that killed Asha. I was wondering about that plot point, like, didn't we have a whole FBI agent that was rogue, so ain't gonna be no consequences? The whole investigation ain't gonna fall apart. I seen Power. The whole investigation is supposed to be put away. Okay, then that happened. It's over with, baby. Y'all, you got people out here killing people, baby. So I'm glad he brought that up. That made the FBI look bad again. Once again, I don't even know why we still in trial. It should just be over at this point. He comes over to the house and they have their little goodbye moment. It was a beautiful moment. I shed a tear. I don't know about you guys. But basically, she's like, why? And he's like, listen, I have to own my side of the road. I'm the one who approached you in that bar that night. It wasn't just me. I made choices, basically. He was like, even when I thought I was going to get you back, it wasn't just you. Like, it was me. Like, I was going to get you back, saying, like, I'm going to get you back for everything you did. He said it wasn't just you. It was me. I made choices. I did things I wasn't supposed to do. He killed 2 people. Let's just rewind that back. You beat somebody to death. I feel like Nate's punishment for that, though, is losing his father. So he didn't go to prison, but he did lose the very first person that he wanted to, have an opportunity to love and spend time with the most, was his father. And he lost that because, not because of, but, that's what happened. He lost, and then he struck out and killed 2 people. So, you kind of, on a balance of life scale, he got what was coming to him, kind of, because I do feel like you can't just be out here murdering people, y'all. So I'm trying to give Nate a little tea, because I've been calling him corn chip, but I don't know, baby. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be out here killing people. But I guess since your daddy died, we're going to let you rock. So he was just like, I think that you need to try to do the same thing. You good at a lot of things, Annalise, but you're not good at that. And she not. She will shift the blame, or she would just avoid taking the blame, for whatever. Like we said, she is not without fault. She is very flawed. She has done a lot of bad things. Okay, all those things she said at the end, she has done those things, and she needs to take accountability for those things. I mean, I firmly believe that. I know as much as I champion for Annalise done did some stuff that's not right. You know what I mean? So she definitely needs to take accountability for that, as do everybody else for their decisions. So they say goodbye to each other, and it was a beautiful moment. He gives her Wes's confession. He found it on Xavier, and so that was like their goodbye moment. And she shed that one tear. Baby, how you get that one tear? As an actress, I just want to learn how to just shed one tear. And he leaves, so we know that's the last we'll see of Nate or whatever. So that was a nice moment. And so Annalise goes to burn the confession. And then as she's burning the confession, she gets a knock at the door. And who's at the door? But her mama and her sister.
Hey, yay! They came back.
Yay, Cicely Tyson for the last episode. It was beautiful. So they came in, and Annalise kind of breaks down and cries. And I was glad she had that support system, her family, to be with her through this time. Because truth be told, if she had went to jail, at least her mama was there to give her a hug. You know what I'm saying? So Oliver is at home making some drinks, and Connor comes home, and he tells him, basically, I know that you went down there last night. You wasn't at no library. You went down there and told them that you was going to lie and say, something on the stand about Annalise. What was it? He was like, well, they was just going to have me say that I had to delete some pictures of her and Wes on a computer. I'm like, y'all are doing the most, FBI. Like, y'all are really grasping at straws at this point. Like, seriously. So Connor was like, if you do that, Annalise might lose her case. That means Laura's going to go to jail. That means Christopher going to be by himself. He like, I'm going to be by myself. He's like, listen, I want a divorce. I turned you into a criminal. If you had never met me, you would have never been in. It's kind of like this moment where Oliver and Connor Oliver has to realize that he got to be his own person. Like, the whole of your existence cannot be with this man. You cannot be this codependent. Because the fact of the matter is, he did make you a criminal. He did have you out here doing illegal stuff, hacking and stuff you ain't had no business doing. So maybe, you know, you need to take some accountability. You can't just keep lying and think that good things are going to happen. My thing is, you willing to go and lie more to keep him out of jail, to put this woman in jail. You ain't going to be able to live with that. And kind of know he ain't going to be able to live with that. And they're going to end up resenting each other. In the end, they're going to end up breaking up. So he like, I'm going to do my time. I rejected the deal. I'm going to jail. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, I'm sorry. I love you, but sign these papers. And Oliver's like, you can't tell me you don't love me no more. And he looked at him. He was like, I don't love you no more. He lying, but you know, whatever. He had a good conversation with Miss Cicely Tyson. She basically lets her know, you know, baby, the only person that's in control is God, honey. Okay, when you be needing to listen, that's when you be needing to come to Jesus. Let me talk to you about life. Ain't nobody in control but God. Not you, not the jury, not me. All you got to do is show up. And if I know you, okay, you gonna show up and show out. Okay, so I'm just saying, don't you worry about it, baby. God is in control. You got this. You hear me? I was like, come on, mama. That's what you need. Encouragement. Okay, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Yes, come on now. Hallelujah. You had to speak victory during the test, and no matter how you feel, speak a word, you will be healed. Speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. Oh, yes, girls. Back for the closing arguments. The prosecutor goes on, you know, the conspiracy theory is noise. Annalise Keating is a murderer. She killed all these people. He flashed the pictures. Boom, bam, that's it. It was kind of basic, actually. I thought he would do a little bit better with his closing. And so Annalise gets up there and says she's not a victim. And that's the only true thing that he said about me. Y'all, I wrote this down, okay? She said she wore a mask every day of her life, and she starts to go through different parts of her life. Like, she smiled in high school to get boys, and she changed her name. And when she married Keating, she devoted herself to be a Keating. When she married Sam, she devoted herself to being a Keating, also that the world would accept her, okay? She even talked about being gay when she was young, and being, you know, being scared to be gay, and leaving Eve, and losing the baby, and going through alcoholism. I was like, this lady done been through the storm, baby. Okay, my God, she done been through the storm and the rain, Jesus. I was like, come through, Annalise, come through. And she owned it. She was like, listen, I done coerced witnesses. I done, you know, manipulated jurors. I done did all that stuff. Like, I ain't even much gonna lie to y'all. I'm low-key a trash person, okay? Like, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. But what I ain't do, because what I've been telling y'all all this sale season is kill nobody. I did not kill nobody because I'm not on trial for being a bad person. I'm not on trial for doing foolishness. I'm not on trial for misconduct. I'm on trial for murder. 5 of them, okay? 5. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is, I ain't killed nobody, girl. I'm not no megalomon, you know, mastermind, you know what I'm saying, despicable me. It's not me. I ain't do that. Okay, I know I got real loud, but I had got impassioned. You know, when she was talking, I was like, give it to us, deliver us. Yes, give us what we need. I love, this is a good close. Yes, I'm here for it. After they're done with that, they go into the back, and they're Tegan and Annalise are talking, and she's like, you know, I know I'm dumb. I shouldn't have got up there and said it. And Tegan was like, no, girl, I mean, woo, girl, you did that. Basically, like, girl, this is amazing. And she said something else to her, and then she's like, girl, I'm in love with you. I was like, oh, she lost. It's gonna happen. It didn't happen. But I was like, it's gonna happen. So she was like, I'm in love with you. And she was like, I love you, you know, and I can't have life without you. Like, I love you. And I think that I can make you happy. And when she said that, I was like, it ain't happening. I was like, I think I can make you happy. Annalise already like, girl, So Annalise was like, girl, listen, I like you a little bit too, but I can't promise you that I'm going to make you happy. Like you tell me you're going to make me happy. Okay, because I be doing some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm me, girl. My light is bright and I be shining, ho. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. You might hang around for a little while, baby, but I don't know. She said, I know you want love, but you know, it ain't me, boo-boo. It ain't me. I think Annalise at that moment, because as we see later on, we see what happens. I think at that moment, she just wasn't ready to receive. You know, she wasn't ready to receive that love. You know what I'm saying? So she's telling her it's not me, but maybe later on, she changed her mind, okay? As we see, Annalise had quite a few loves of her life, okay? Bonnie comes in and tells them, we got a verdict. So we go back to the courtroom, we get the verdict, and Annalise is found not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. I was like, praise God, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Annalise is, oh God, she's free, hallelujah. I was happy for Annalise. She was hugging everybody. It was a beautiful sight. It was great to see. Everybody took a deep breath. You know, Connor was upset because he know he finna go to jail immediately. Oh, y'all, in the closing, she talked about her sexual abuse. She talked about depression and grief. I mean, oh, it was so good. I missed some stuff in my notes, but oh my God, it was everything. Like, that speech was everything. That's a monologue that somebody needs to like do. Like, write that down and do that somewhere. That's everything. At this point, we know that somebody's going to get shot outside the courthouse. So she's giving her speech. Everybody's looking a little crazy. You know, I'm looking crazy. I know you guys was like, oh God, what's going to happen? So, you know, she's giving her speech about the governor, and they need to do the prosecuting against her, you know, investigations against her. You know, they asking her questions and whatnot. And so as we see that, okay, let me get this right. She said she was at the court mercy, y'all. She said she is a 53-year-old woman, and she is at the mercy of the court. Okay? My life is in your hands. Hallelujah. Okay, yes. As she's doing this, we see Gabriel packing up his $86,000 or whatever it was, getting in the bag and get the hell out of Dodge. I was like, boy, if you don't get away from these people, I know something. Okay, so he got out of Dodge. That was the last we're gonna see of Gabriel. Bye, Gabriel. Outside the courthouse, we see Michaela crying. Bitch, why are you crying now? Okay, you threw everybody under the bus. You ain't had no type of feeling this whole time, but now you up here crying. Girl, you tried us. So she's crying as Connor is getting taken away. Oliver is upset. Connor gives him the ring. He tell him, you know, I'm not going to sign no papers. I'm going to be with you. Don't worry about it. And Connor is like, now I know how to love. I just thought that was the cheesiest line. Like, why did y'all put that in there? Like, that was the cheesiest line ever in the history of lines, okay? But they took Connor off. He was crying. He finna go serve his little 5 years in jail. Girl, he gonna be out in 2.5. Don't even worry about it. Oliver is crying when Connor is getting taken off. Michaela goes to like hug him and say, I'm so sorry. He like,
bitch, get off me. It should be you up in there.
Okay? Don't touch me. And so Michaela turns around and she goes to call Laurel, and that number say, do. The number you have reached is now disconnected. I said, oh man, you ain't got nobody. That's where you deserve to be alone. Okay? 1 is the loneliest number, bitch. Okay? And you deserve it, ho. You deserve it. Yes, you do. Okay? I got a song in my heart today, y'all. Okay? Michaela ended up alone. Okay? Ho. Then we see Laurel putting Christopher in the car saying, you know, we're going to meet new people. We're not going to have to worry about the boogeyman no more. It's not going to be nothing, girl. It's going to be great. And then we see her daddy walking into prison, and then somebody be like, hey, what's up? And then somebody stab him, and then he just died. So I'm inclined to believe that Laurel and Tegan had something to do with that. Okay, do Tegan got a cousin in the jail? Like, how that happened? Okay, but I'm assuming that Laurel had something to do with it, and that's why she said something to Tegan, like, let's get this popping so we can get this property and we can be done with it. I'm gonna give you some money, call one of your cousins, okay? Call one of your Dominican cousins, okay? And have him, you know what I'm saying, up in the jail, look, yeah. Real quick. Laurel sees the shot, she turns around and looks, but we don't see who it is, okay? So now we're back to the funeral scene that we saw at the beginning of the season. And I was wrong about it being a dream sequence. It is an actual funeral. And we see that Annalise has passed away. The new picture of her, a younger picture of her, and we see a man who looks like Wes walking in. He's walking through the crowd, okay? So they're saying, you know, we're going to have a special speaker that's going to come up. And then we cross-cut this with Bonnie and Annalise at the press conference. She sees somebody off into the distance, and that person she sees is Frank. And so she starts, you know, walking through the crowd. He looking real scary. He looking like he out on the edge, okay? He out on a limb. Okay, he is on the edge. So he is walking up. He is trying to get, to somebody. We don't know who it is at first. But then when Bonnie started crossing the steps this way, I saw the governor coming out. I said, oh, he about to shoot the governor, baby. So he runs up and he shoots the governor. Okay, so he shoots the governor and it's a whole bunch of shots that go off. Everybody start running through the crowd, right? Like I said, we're cross-cut back with the funeral, but let's just finish this scene. So basically what happens is Annalise runs over to Frank and she's trying to, oh my God, is he alive? And he's telling Bonnie, tell Annalise I did this for her, or, I just wanted to make it right or something like that. And so she's trying to comfort him, and you don't see until Annalise comes over there and Bonnie sits up that she also has been shot. Okay, and so she lays over Annalise. This was Emmy Award winning acting, okay? Like Annalise, when she was having that girl in her hands and she was like, oh my God, stay alive, girl, stay. I was like,
Bonnie!
It was amazing acting. I was locked into the TV. You hear me? My heart was beating. I was like, Bonnie, don't die. You get on everybody's nerves, but we want you to live. We don't want you to die. But then, upon further reflection, okay, I think that Frank dying and Bonnie dying was kind of like a tragic love. Like I said, Shakespearean love. A tragic story. Frank comes from a tragic beginning. He is a child of incest. Right from birth, he already was, set back. So, he's always going through this self-loathing thing. Now he's come to this fruition. Even though he's found somebody to love him and accept him, he won't be able to accept himself. And therefore, he ended up tragically. I was sad that Frank died, but Frank killed people. Frank is a sociopath. So, in the big scheme of the universe, although we liked him, he was still a sociopath and killed people, as did Bonnie. Okay, she also killed Rebecca. So, cosmically, she got her justice. And I personally don't think that Bonnie could have made it on this planet without Frank. I really think that if he would have died and her knowing that she told him that set him off like he did and he ended up dying, that she would have ended up killing herself. She would have ended up being depressed and in a mental hospital for the rest of her life. This is Bonnie we talking about, y'all. And Frank is basically the love of her life. So, I feel like them dying together was like a poetic, sweet justice. It was almost sweet to me that they died together, right? So that was cool. On further reflection with Asher and the whole show, I feel like everybody who died, not everybody, okay, not everybody, okay, let me take that back. I feel like everybody who killed someone got their justice except for Nate. I'm kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I said, his daddy died, so I'm gonna let him rock, but everybody who killed somebody, Asher killed somebody. As much as we like Asher, he did run over that lady with their car. Ain't nobody told him to do that. He got mad. Instead of beating her up, instead of cursing her out, instead of making another decision as a grown man, he hit that gas pedal and reversed and backed over that lady. Okay, so at the end, he ended up dead. I was sad to see him go, but at the end of the day, you're a murderer. So I really, you know what I'm saying. With Nate, I kind of don't feel like I'm not saying he shouldn't, but he went through a lot. He did get, framed for a murder, even though I feel like he was in jail for 2 weeks. But, he got framed for a murder. He lost his job, his whole life, his career. His father died. So he pretty much got his bad things. Okay, I'm saying that reluctantly because, like I said, I just don't think you should be around here killing people. Maybe it's just me. Connor, I feel bad that he went to jail. But I feel like Connor went to jail for him. He wouldn't be able to live with it on his conscience, so he went to prison as an act of atoning for the things that he did. I didn't want him to go to jail. I feel like it was unfair that he was the only person to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? As much as kind of get on my nerves, I did feel like that. Bonnie and Frank, they out of there. They dead, they out. So at the funeral, we see that their special speaker for the funeral is Eve, and once they get into Christopher walking through the crowd, we realize that it's Christopher because we see Laurel, and Laurel is aged a whole lot. Now, I was confused now, because after this was over, they showed Nate. Okay, let me say this first. Nate ended up, getting his $20 million, I'm assuming, or getting some money from a settlement. He opened up this legal center. Now, what I'm confused about is he wasn't old and everybody else was old. So maybe that was a little flash into the future, and then we got a flash much, much further in the future. Now, let me also say that Christopher is a law professor. Law professors don't be 25. Okay, I mean, you could be a lawyer by the time you 30. It's gonna take you almost to 30 to be a lawyer, unless you're just like really smart and pass the bar the first time. You know what I mean? You might could do it by your late 20s. You know what I'm saying? But like, to be teaching a professor at a law school, he got to be at least 30, 35 years old. Okay, so it's been 35 years. Why? I mean, because Annalise she said I'm 53. So that means you're going to die when you, 80s, 90s, unless you live to be 100 years old. Why were they so old? Like, y'all was only like in your 20s. Like, why do they have y'all looking elderly? If 30 years passed, like, I ain't been 20 in almost 20 years. And look at me. I got a couple of gray hairs. I ain't been 20 in almost 20 years, y'all. And then people looked at old. I was like, child, what is this? This makeup is a tragedy, okay? So anywho, we see them at the funeral. You know, Laurel sees, she looking raggedy and taggedy as per usual. She sees, you know, Oliver and Connor, they done got back together. You know, they looking like, Wolverine and shit. So, like, Connor over there looking like Wolverine, old ass Wolverine. So, they together. Michaela wasn't there. We see that Michaela becomes a judge. We see that she had 2 daughters or whatever. Like I said, I hope she grow up and mentor somebody that stab her ass in the back later on. So you see, she ain't come to the funeral. She ain't come to the funeral. She ain't got time for these people. So Eve is giving a beautiful speech about how Annalise just touches lives, and then we go back, you know, we see, like I said, Nate got his foundation, and we see that, you know, Annalise has lived her life, and Pete Norwright said it wasn't necessarily like people she was in love with, the hands that she was holding, but more like, you know, people that she just open to everybody. You know how Annalise is. She's just an open person, and like, you know, she got the mojo, so like once she focused the mojo on you, it's a wrap. You know, everybody, people be getting under the spell, so it could be people she's mentored, people she's loved, or whatever. But I do think the first hand was Tegan hand, because it was city love. They was in the city. So I was like, that's Tegan hand first, you know. We see her and Tegan dancing together, basically giving us a full story that she has lived a full entire life, okay? And now she's an old woman, rich with relationships, you know, and she's an old woman now, and she's passed on, right? Acknowledging the light that she's brought to everyone's life. That was beautiful to me. I thought it was a very nice moment. Then we see, just like the very first scene of the very first episode of How to Get Away with Murder, we see Wes riding his bicycle to go to class. We see Christopher riding his bicycle to go to class, and he gets in the classroom, and then we see that he's like, welcome to Criminal Law 101. I'm going to teach you. He writes How to Get Away with Murder across the board. And then we see Ghost Annalise in the audience smiling, okay, from heaven. And it closes. And I was like, this could totally be a spinoff. I did not like Christopher Castillo. I didn't like this is Christopher Castillo. Welcome to... I was like, child, you are trying so hard. We all know that Alfred Enoch have a British accent. I kind of feel like she should have took him to the UK, okay? He should have had his British accent, because it would have sounded more natural. And it makes sense that Laurel would take him out the country and raise him somewhere else for most of his life, okay? So if you watch the live, the girl who plays Laurel, she said that she done came up with a whole backstory. Basically, we was in a pandemic. He found some of her teachings online, and he came to his mother and told his mother that this woman is amazing, and she shut it down. You can't talk her, you can't look at her. No, no, no. And eventually, you know, they came to the point where she decided that she can't control her son, and she's gonna let him do his thing. And so by him going to the school, you know, and knowing her and getting to know her, that he was able to bridge the gap between the two of them. I mean, it was long and involved, y'all, and that's how they mended their relationship, and it showed you that relationships can be mended and, you know, brought back. So I thought that was cool. So I really liked, like I said, how everybody took a level of accountability, except for maybe Michaela. And her accountability to me was like, I'm just gonna take, you know, I'm gonna live in it. I'm gonna live in it that, you know, I backstabbed her, that I'm trying to get to my position, and I'm taking care of myself now. So I can respect that. You gotta look out for yourself, right? So you know, whatever that means for her. You know what I'm saying? And then we have Oliver taking accountability in his own way. Like I said, I didn't want him to go to jail, but, you know, I felt like he did it for his conscience, okay? And making Oliver be on his own. So when they get back together, they can, you know, be strong together, like not so codependent on one another, right? So I felt like that happened. I felt like I said, Bonnie and Frank, tragic. Tragic, but beautiful. Beautifully tragic, right? And I think that Annalise got a beautiful ending. You know, I thought that was nice. Now, some people said they didn't like the way they bowed and tied it up. It should have just ended after the shooting. But I'm kind of glad that we got this, because we would be asking these questions, y'all. We would want to know, because the story was so tumultuous and they were such bad people. You know what I mean? That you will want to know how things turned out for them eventually. Was it good? Or was it going to be more okay, later on? So I'm glad that they tied it up for us. And so therefore we can create our own stories about what happened to these people through their lives, because we know eventually they're going to, you know, achieve goals and whatnot. Okay, the makeup, like I said, and the hair, that was terrible, baby. It was terrible. All right, so this is almost an hour-long video, y'all, before I edit it down. And I just want to tell y'all thank you for hanging with me all these years, okay? I appreciate you guys' comments. Even the people that don't agree with me, I can understand. Sometimes we ain't got to agree all the time. But, you know, I'm here to listen to your different perspectives. I'm sad I won't be doing any How to Get Away with Murder reviews anymore. So, you know, this brings me a little bit of sadness, but I feel satisfied with the end of the show, and I think it was a good show. So we'll see what's coming up next for me. Y'all, there's nothing. I mean, fall TV is really kind of dead right now, but, you know, if I pick up something new, I will let you guys in on it, okay? I'm trying to figure out some things to get it together now. Oh, The Chi is coming back, so I think I'm probably going to do The Chi. It starts in June or July. I can't remember. So I definitely probably do The Chi, okay? So that's all I got. I ain't got no more. So I'm going to talk to y'all later. I want you to don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with all your friends. And I will holler at y'all next time. Peace.